Thanks everyone. I am Irshad Saifi and I welcome you all to this Brownbag session. Brownbag session is a term which is very particular in the and popular in the North America. This has been used in majority of the MNCs as a replacement of the knowledge session. So I thought maybe we can use that particular terminology here as well in this group. And today we have Akash Saxena from Capgemini, who is joining us to share his experience with ISO 42001 that he has recently completed. And I think all of us knows this is an artificial intelligence management system. So firstly, let me thanks Akash for preparing all of these material and sparing his time on Saturday to come over into this call. And also thanks all of you to come on Saturday. I know it's very hot in all parts of the India. So thank you so much for that. Uh, with this, let me hand it off to Akash for taking this forward, please. Thanks, Akash. Yeah.
Thank you, Irshad, for the introduction, and like to welcome everyone. Thanks for taking out time today on Saturday, and uh, showing that intent to understand and learn about ISO 42001 standard. So I'm currently based out of Bangalore, and the agenda is basically to give an overview of what the 42001 standard is all about, and uh, some of my experience that I would like to share from this training. So, of course, time is not the duration of the meeting. Of course, cannot cover everything in detail, but you can definitely reach out to me offline if there are any questions. I think I have this slide. I can present my screen. Do I have that option?
Yeah, you should have that option.
Yeah. Okay. I think you have disabled the screen sharing. If you are able to make me the
Really?
host, or
Okay, let me
yeah.
do one thing real quick. Let me share my screen because otherwise
Okay.
this may take a lot of time.
Okay.
Enable editing. Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me just go here, make it to full screen. Yeah.
Okay. We can directly go to. Okay, we can go to slide 3 directly. So idea is basically, so we have all been hearing about artificial intelligence or general generative artificial intelligence, right? It's a buzzword now which has been there uh, for quite a few years now, and we have been seeing some use cases in different industry sectors. uh, we are seeing a lot of the traction of artificial intelligence in healthcare, automotive, tourism, right? So these are some of the industries where there are a lot of use cases being currently developed or underway, or somewhere in as part of POC. Now, what needs to happen is, of course, every organization now, be it small one or a large scale organization, they are basically integrating artificial intelligence in any of the products which they are consuming, whether it's for their internal employees or whether it is for the mass consumers, right? So what we need to understand is how does an AI system or a artificial intelligence management system works, right? So it basically ingests some sort of data in sort of a, let's say, a predefined script or rules or data, and then based on some algorithms, based on some input, it provides you the output, right? So it basically works on that logic. Now, how do we ensure that the data or the outcome that is expected from this system is let's say it's ethical, it's serving the intended purpose, it is free of any kind of a bias? That is where there was a need to basically have a standard which basically would look into the uh, responsibility of managing a artificial intelligence management system. So that is where ISO, the International Standard Organization, basically decided that there should be a standard which basically should look into the maintaining, the establishment, and the monitoring of a responsible usage of an artificial intelligence management system. So ISO 42001 came into picture, and now at moment it is the recognized standard which also provides guidelines for the governance and management of AI technology. So any organization which is currently in the business of implementing or using an AI system will need to undergo through this particular standard certification. I think if we can move ahead, Rishad, and I think that slide is gone, or I can open it on my screen also, not a problem. Right. So so a lot of focus basically is on setting up the organization objectives, engaging your stakeholders. How do you see the risk around it? How do you see the opportunities? What are the, how do you ensure that the AI system that you're using is currently a trustworthy system? There should be transparency, there should be explainability, there should be robustness in the way the AI system is currently developed, and what kind of third party relationship with other, that can be integrated with the existing processes that we have today. Then you have roles and responsibility, just like with any other process or any kind of management standard frameworks that you have in the industry. So the governance basically would require clear demarcated roles and responsibilities amongst the different stakeholders. So the stakeholders in play over here are the AI providers, basically, who are providing the hosting capabilities. Then there are AI producers, there are developers, there are testers, there are a lot of freelancers who are coming up with their own AI solutions. AI customers, the end users, then your partners, any kind of system integrators, AI subjects, what are your data, what are your affected individuals. Let's say in the case of healthcare, you have a personal health information or a personal identified information. Then what are the authorities, the regulators across the geographies, by which, where the cross-border regulations will apply for the usage of artificial intelligence, or let's say sharing of any kind of information. What are the data obligation? What kind of controls we need to have in place for basically doing any kind of a prototype while developing an AI solution. So, of course, like with any other standard certification, ISO 42001 also offers its own set of benefits. But before that, why it is needed for the organization, right? So everybody is talking about having an AI system, but then what we also need to understand over here is how this system is actually changing the way the organizations or set of individuals are currently, how the thought process is basically changing for people, right? So it's ultimately still a machine, right? It still requires a little bit of human intervention, right? So that is where we need to have a standard or a governance framework which basically helps us to uh, manage and ensure that the systems are behaving in a responsible manner. It should not basically be causing any kind of issue with, let's say, the privacy of an individual or a set of group of people. There should not be any biased information which is coming out of it. Your algorithms cannot be producing a biased outcome. The security risk, security. So just like with any other technology, you also have a lot of security risk, which will be eventually be associated with an artificial intelligence system. Then you also need to have a sustainable deployment, right? It should not be causing any kind of a risk to the society. It should be again in a accountable or responsible manner, and it also ensures that the business basically has an accreditation showcasing their ability to manage such systems in place, right? So it also sort of offers a competitive advantage towards them. Typical AI management system, it basically will talk about four pillars: host, secure, distribute, learn. Host basically will ensure that you're hosting a sort of data, right? You are also providing some real time insights and analytics towards the organization or for your consumption, and you are also learning with every kind of a use case uh, with an AI system. Then you also talk about secure. Securing is basically your authorization and authentication principles, basically meaning that who is actually required to access a certain amount of data from these systems, or who is actually supposed to train these algorithms from these AI systems. And then you distribute, you're integrating a real time data to any third party or independent system. Learning is gathering feedback, retraining, and continuously improving your artificial intelligence management system over here. So moving to the
Hey,
structure.
sorry, Akash, sorry to interrupt you. I am not able to see any presentation. I'm not sure whether other people are
Okay.
able to see. So it's
Okay.
not sure. It's like focused. So maybe you are
I
speaking, focus is
was
on you. I'm not sure.
okay. I'll Ishad, you're able to present it? if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I did present it in the beginning. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
I'm
presented.
trying.
Yeah, the first slide I could able to see. Now
Okay.
I'm not able to see other slides. So
Okay.
Give
not
me a
sure whether it's
second.
problem.
Give me a second. Let me just do that. Hold on.
No problem. We can go to slide number 7.
Yes. Um, Akash, can you please try that now?
You want me to
Um,
present?
yeah. Just try and presenting it.
I think yeah, I should be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me know once it is
Yeah,
visible
I
for
can
everyone.
see it.
Oh, thank you so much. Uh,
Yeah, it's visible now.
yeah. Thanks.
Okay, good. Okay. So, uh, coming to the, I think there's some background noise. If people can go on mute.
I'll mute them. Don't worry. You continue.
Okay. So, the structure of ISO 42001. So, this is a high level structure. So, you have 10 clauses. In practice, the standard has 38 processes and 10 controls. And the clause 1 basically will talk about the scope. Scope is basically what is the purpose, what is the
Akash,
audience.
could you
Yeah.
hold on? You are the host. Could you please just go and mute Mukesh Gupta? I think there is a lot of noise coming from his end.
Okay.
Yeah, Mukesh Gupta. Yeah, perfect.
Otherwise, all
Thank you.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
think you can still
Thanks.
see my slide. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So we were talking about the clauses. The first clause is about the scope, which basically talks about the what is the purpose of the standard, who are the audience, where will be the standard apply, which industry. I mean now it has to be applicable for all the industry in order to for them to consume or provide any services related to ISO, related to artificial intelligence basically. Then you have the normative references. So there are references which are also applicable or which are also uh, kind of binding into the overall standard. So there is another standard which is ISO 22789 or 989, which also has a reference. It's another artificial intelligence reference standard. Then you have the terms and definitions, which is understandable. All the terms definitions which will be applied throughout the standard, in which the auditor or let's say the implementer should be aware of. Context of the organization is nothing that it requires the organization to understand the internal and the external factors which come into play when implementing their AIMS system. It also is also about setting up the operations around it. Then we move to leadership. Leadership is again the support of the management, the commitment of the management, how they want to uh, foster the culture of implementing an artificial intelligence management system, and the foundations around it. Then you talk about planning. Planning is also looking again how do you want to implement the system, how what kind of support structure you need in place, what kind of risk which will be uh, which you're able to identify, and how what is the plan basically to address those risks. Then support organization is around the resources, the competence around the organization, what kind of people or skill and expertise that you need in order to implement a system, an auditing system, and also to govern the system. Then you have operations. Operations is basically you do the planning, you do the forecasting, and all the daily tasks which are associated with maintaining an AIMS system. Then you have performance evaluation. Performance evaluation is to monitor and measure and analyze the system performance and improvement, which is your last clause. Will talk about a continual process to improve the functioning of the AIM system with respect to, let's say, the regulatory requirement to the business requirement, and continuously feed in and making sure that your information is always secure on it. You are not producing any biased information on it. So this is at a high level, and this slide basically talks about what I was
Yeah, maybe
mentioning.
we can skip over these slides and get to the eligibility criteria, because I think you've already
Yeah.
mentioned most of these things. Yeah,
Yeah. So
thanks.
eligibility. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So eligibility. Basically, it is a fresh standard, and anyone with experience in security or enthusiast can appear for this training and certification exam. Uh, so it doesn't really require any kind of a background that I'm let's say on the business side, I'm on the marketing side. I mean, it's totally on your keen interest, and you, uh, as mentioned, right, any kind of business which is into the legit production of an AI system or managing of an AI system should be planning for it. It's an industry agnostic certification, so anybody can apply. Some of the certification bodies, there are, I think, now quite a few which are coming through. So you have CIS certifications, you have ANSI, you've got IGR, CI, which are these organizations, and approximately $497 is the fees. But I would request everyone to, please do their own research before they, plan to go ahead with their certification, because it may vary, depending on the institution or the organization. So yeah, please plan accordingly. And yep, with this, I think we are done then, Rishad. I think anyone, any questions around it?
Yeah, no, firstly, thank you so much, Akash, for giving a quick view of this ISMS. Not ISMS, the AIMS is the new
Yeah,
for artificial intelligence. I know we
right.
cannot cover the whole training or maybe in detail in this 30 or 40 minutes of session, but thank you so much for giving at least a gist of it. My first question to you would be, um, which is the training institute or place from where you have gone and done it, this entire training and certification?
Okay. That's an easy one. Okay, so
Yeah.
I attended it through GRC Mentor. So the trainer name is Ailur Ramnath. Is a pretty renowned trainer on a lot of ISO standards and a lot of auditing, certification. So I did the training in the month of March, end of March. Basically, it was a 5 day workshop, full day workshop. So it's a full day workshop basically, and yeah.
Just one question I want to understand. Now, this ISO 42001, okay.
Mhm.
Now, is there any criteria for the organization to go for the certification? For example, if few organizations may be in the pilot, okay, they may be doing some pilot for the AI. Okay,
Mhm.
they may not have developed the full-fledged application, they may not be using it. But
Mhm.
at what stage we need to go for the certification, or is there any standards from the, for example, some European standards are there. If we work with some European organizations, they may have some standard that you need to go with this certification because you are
Mhm.
dealing with us, okay, or our
Mhm.
data. So I just want to understand at what stage or whether there is any maturity level in the organizations. For example, I have deployed the AI full-fledged, and at some stage, then if someone is dealing with, or if our organization is dealing with some customers and other European company, and if they say, okay, now because you are using AI systems, you may need to certify your organism as a 42001, something like that. So not sure at what stage we need to initiate the certification program for our organization as well.
Uh, Valid question. I mean, but the point is, again, how responsible is the organization, right? So they basically need to take that call. Example, let's say in the case of ISMS, right? There are a lot of companies who are actually late in the game when they want to certify, right? So similarly, for this will apply for the AIMS also. Let's say you already have a system in place. So I think, uh, let's say if you want to use it for a commercial purpose, or let's say also you want to use it internally, right? So you will still have stakeholders, right,
Mm,
across the geographies who would like to understand,
mm,
how fair is this system, how transparent is the system. Let's say, within the organization, let's say if you're working in India and you have stakeholders in Europe, and when you talk about data, right, that question still rises. How do I trust, you with my
mm,
data, right? So it's only going to be a fair ask, that if you have a system in place, then go for a certification.
True. Okay. Yeah, that is judgmental decision, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that has to be a very rational decision over here.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And my view is, I think, as in continuation to what Akash has mentioned, as this is a very new standard. So for all of us as a CIOs and IT leaders, I think it will be good for us to understand what all AIMS is covering, as majority of us are already working on the artificial intelligence. It will be helpful for us while we are developing. We know what does this standard talks about. So right from the beginning itself, we can embrace some of these best practices of ISO into the AI as well, like the way we have done it in the ISMS case. Now, I think ISO 27001 is not something that people really go and talk about, that whether we need it or not. So I believe at some point in time, because AI is real, it's going to stay. Everybody is embracing this into their enterprises and into the products. So I guess this would be very helpful if we all learn it and then start applying into our organizations. Yeah, thank you.
And Akash, I understand there will be definitely some controls, correct? So like just ISMS, there are clauses and controls that we need to adhere to achieve the
Right.
certification. So I think even for these AIMS, there will be definitely certain some controls that we need to review and ensure that we meet those guidelines, correct?
Yeah. I mean, as and when you, let's say, you decide to take up this, certification, as you'll get to know what are the controls which are already applicable, and industry-wise, or let's say industry standards, or I mean, apart outside of this, then there are, of course, the countries which are coming up with their own regulations. So it's again up to the individual organizations, how many rules they want to really combine it with, and certify it against.
Thank you.
So I think there's a question, controls you're talking about. So there are 10 controls, 38
Yeah,
processes.
correct. Yes. Okay. Good.
And Akash, did you find some site or like the where good documentation is available apart from the training institutes or whatever it is?
I would rely on the training institute, because normally they
Okay.
would. I mean, they will actually, nothing is better than the standard, to be very precise.
Okay.
Then, of course, a lot of this information what I presented is again through my research online, and I wanted to create. So a lot of information is readily available, but then your standard is the de facto document. You'll always have to refer to that.
Okay.
All right.
And ask from this CIO AI Council, is there anything that you will be willing to share with this group, so that at least this presentation, if you don't have any problem, we will convert this into PDF and share it to the CIO AI Council. And then if you can also maybe list down all the control and processes, at least so that people get a little more overview of what all does it contain.
Sure. I think sharing the slides is not an issue. I can definitely enhance it a little bit more.
Mhm.
Documentation, unfortunately, not, because we haven't received it ourselves. That was very
Ah,
clear. That was a very clear direction from the trainer, because it's all about the ethics, right? So what they did is, they shared us the link of the Google Drive, and I think it's so well protected that you even cannot take a good screenshot out of it. Okay, so it's totally restricted, right? So it doesn't let you, in fact, do a screenshot. It doesn't let you do a download. So it's only, but yes, we do have a lifetime access to the document. That's about it.
okay. I'll try to research, and then maybe if I am
I
able
mean,
to
yeah,
get
somewhere in the
something, I'll
world,
share. Yeah.
somewhere in the world, there will be someone
Yeah.
who can definitely provide it. But
Perfect.
I'll share some control details for the audience. I will definitely, uh, give you some more insights which can definitely help to understand.
Okay.
But I think,
Perfect.
any other questions, anyone? I think we got 4 minutes back to us then.
You. It
Yeah,
was a
we
really
still
good
have.
session.
Good. If there are no more questions, then let me again reiterate. Thank you so much, Akash, for sparing your time, and thank you everybody for joining on Saturday. It was a good, quick overview session. I will also do my research to find out the processes and controls, and we will share it to the group. Thanks,
Yes,
and you
yes.
all have a great day. Please stay safe in this
Thank
scorching hot weather.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. It's an honor, and thanks for listening. Great.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.